thank you for the invitation to come down today. It's absolutely my pleasure. But what I thought I would do just very briefly is to outline to you what's been happening recently and what's coming up in State Parliament on this issue. I know many of you, probably most of you, signed a petition a month or so back that was calling for two things. It was calling for a moratorium on unconventional gas. It was calling for the permanent protection of farming land and conservation land and urban residential land from gas, and also calling for farmers and local communities to have more say over all forms of mining, including mineral mining, open cut, etc. Over 2,500 people signed that petition, and it was tabled in Parliament 2 weeks ago. I can tell you that I have reintroduced into State Parliament two bills, and a bill is basically just a draft law, and it's something that all MPs will need to vote on. The first bill is aimed fairly and squarely at your communities in the southeast, and it's an amendment to the Petroleum and Geothermal Energy Act. And basically what it says is that there are so many question marks and so many dangers associated with fracking that it is not appropriate in the settled farming areas of South Australia. That's the starting point. Protect our farmland, protect our food bowl, don't allow these unconventional gas activities. It also goes on to say that there's enough question marks that we should really be having a good look at it anywhere in the state. Now, I know they'll be telling you that, oh, we've been doing it in the Cooper Basin forever and it hasn't caused any problems. But, you know, if the Liberal government in Victoria has enough concerns that they've got a moratorium in place, why can't we have a moratorium here and put pressure on the government to make sure that the scientific studies are done so that we don't stuff up our countryside in quest for short-term profit? So that's one of the bills. It's basically saying a 2-year moratorium, a complete ban on fracking in farming land and conservation areas, including your coastal conservation zone, and also the places where people live, in townships and urban zoned areas. The second bill is basically saying that when it comes to other forms of mining, such as open cut, it's not just a matter between the individual landholder and the mining company. There are other important stakeholders, the neighbours, the general community, and these people should also have a say over what happens in their community. And many of you who were on the steps of Parliament a month or two back, and you would have seen people from York Peninsula and people from Eyre Peninsula, they're fighting very similar battles to you, basically trying to get a fair go, trying to get more balance in the debate between essential food-growing industries and what is often very short-term profit-making mining proposals. The one on York's, it's a 15-year mine, and it's going to remove from production thousands of hectares of land forever. Now, do the sums. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, there's places in the Middle East that have farmed the same plots of land for thousands of years. And yet, for 15-year short-term profit, the government's saying, no, iron ore and copper are just so important to us, we have to extract them from the ground at all cost. And I think you'll find exactly the same arguments with gas. They say, energy security, we need the gas, and we know that it's short-term, we know there's well integrity problems, and we know it's putting your rural lifestyles, your ability to grow food for us at risk. The second thing that's happening in State Parliament, so the two bills, next Thursday, I've got a motion before Parliament for a parliamentary inquiry into unconventional gas. Now, I know this is something that the 7 local councils that make up this southeast region, I know were very keen to have a parliamentary inquiry. We've been putting it off for a while now. I'm going to bring it to a vote, and we'll find out whether the old parties are serious about having a proper inquiry. And the beauty of a parliamentary inquiry is that we bring witnesses in. We can bring representatives from your community to come into Parliament and tell us what this industry could mean for you. We can also get academics in, we can get all manner of people in to give evidence on the record in a parliamentary inquiry. It's a really important part of the process, and I'm hoping that the old parties will do the right thing next Thursday. So thank you again for the opportunity to come along, and I'm glad I've been able to fill you in on recent developments. My bills, by the way, will be coming to a vote in November, and you'll certainly be getting communications. If you've signed up to any of the lists, you'll be getting communications about what's needed to actually lobby other members of Parliament to get behind this bill, because it's fair and square, aimed at protecting you and your communities, and in fact the heritage that we want to hand on to all future generations. Thank you very much.